Okay. Um, this is another video. As I said, I will continuously make videos. As a target individual, you are gaslighted, right? They make you experience things, and then they come up and they start repeating things. And as always, what they're gonna do is try to get you to subscribe to it. Unfortunately, the people, the children, they might. I think they're adults. I don't know what they are, but hearing these people try to convince you on something they do to you and try to gaslight you for the manipulation they force you to experience is pathetic. And they try to get to you, right? They use this tone, and they're like, because what they try to make you accept is what they are. They project a reality they're in. They make you experience this pedophilia, disturbing things, get you stimulations all the time. They force you to be stimulated toward children, right? For me, kids are all sorts. Little girls is even worse, and they like to tell themselves, like, they like to create this story like, oh, our girls. Not only they do these things where they force you to experience this pedophilia experience, where they get you to experience a stimulation toward children, they torture kids. And then they send these bottom feeders to try to, like, agitate you. And they obviously sound like kids, try to be like, oh, it's you. It's so you. Right? Using that kind of tonality. Try to get you to accept these things. And they're like, oh, you're a pedo. When in reality, at this point, I would call them pedophiles. Because they force men and women to get this disturbing experience via this technology that has been empowered to them by these entities, this intelligence community, ironically filled with pedophiles. They are being groomed. Obviously, these people are not the genius. For them to be able to utilize this technology, it means that there's some guidance from these entities filled with pedophiles. Yes, the technology is very sophisticated. It doesn't take the genius. That's why they can utilize these childlike individuals. That sole job is to agitate you. I see them for the pedophiles that they are, in different form. I was with somebody. This perp is it's just the delusion and the way she can just be so, like, she block reality. It's just not believable. It's unbelievable. Right? And I've seen that it doesn't only happen like in different things. She's able to block reality. She's able to just block our reality, and she's funny because she was. It's funny because she was using, like, she was saying these words like little kids. And I'm looking at her like, yeah, little kids that she torture. It's like, no, we choose. Sorry. Little kids are being tortured in the same program where you choose from. These people are disgusting. To even try to escape this, like, try to escape and create this, like, reality that is so falsified. And if the way they carry themselves is as if they're like they're winners. Like, oh, you're gonna get back what you're gonna get what you deserve. Oh, we made everybody believe this thing is actually you. They believe us. Whoever's gonna torture you. I'm like, first of all, it's not proving anything. It's obvious. If I know that you guys do the perfect type of torture and I have these validations, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take. You immediately found out that pedophilia is a tool utilized by this trash, these pedophiles, that try to call you a pedo. These pedophiles have been utilizing this pedophilia type of torture. They try to use this, even children, pedos. Like, no, you work with pedophiles that do terrible things to babies. And you do nasty things to men and women too, and children. And you've been exposed for not only the agencies in charge of this program being filled with pedophiles, but exposed by the tactics you've been using to do the pedophilia type of torture. With me, they keep going as me as a child. I'm like, it's so pathetic. You want me to be thinking, and look, in their mind, this is how they want me to like accept this. What we're doing to you is making you resurface what you would feel when you were a kid, around 13, 14, 12, 10, 9. And now as a 30-year-old, we matched it to how you would feel around the same age. You are a pedo. I'm like, you know how delusional it is? You're saying that you rewind my brain to be of a child. And then I'm your pedo. If I change your brain into a child, you're a pedo. It's retardation. These people, even that alone is the stupidity of unbelievable. Coming from people filled with pedophiles, just pedos, it's just a problem over there. And then on top of that, they torture people in the pedophilia type of torture. So they do these things to people where they force people to experience pedophilia stimulations, reactions, right? And they're like, no, we matched it to you when you were a kid. Pedo, right? It's obviously meant to agitate you because you see them for what they are. You are pedophiles for doing what you do. You hear this noise campaign. All of that is try to get you to brainwash into accepting these things. Well, you know, they not only do the pedophilia type of torture, but they torture children. And they use these childlike individuals for a purpose. They don't use for geniuses. They're losers. They find winnings in these things that, as a civilian, being targeted by these intelligence entities, can do nothing about it but just deal with the overlay and manipulation of your brain. And they try to get you to accept this and try to find ways to, but they didn't ever. And every time you look at a child, and now it's becoming too obvious. Like, not too obvious, but it's just non-stop. Oh, a woman had a baby on the back. Oh, this kid there. Oh, this little girl there. Oh, non-stop stimulations. And then try to get you to subscribe to it. Then they do this thing with my own tongue where they dry it up. And I end up having to do this. And they're like, It's so nasty. But that's what they do. I will continuously speak about it. Not because I'm supposed to change their mind. They think that I'm in this state of I'm trying to prove this. It's been proven that they do the pedophilia type of torture. It doesn't take much. They really have to really dumb themselves down to block it out. Right? They do what they do. It's obvious. It's not something that they can't even cover that up. You can talk about me as a child. They even have to exaggerate to your high school. No. It's just embarrassing. You imagine grown-ass men. There was this grown man. I think that was this girl. I'll show the picture. This little girl, little 7-9-year-old girl. Beautiful little girl. I think their father made her stand somewhere. They start doing the pedophilia things. And then you come back, you see this guy, it's high school. I'm like, what are you nasty lowlifes. First of all, what you make me experience is what this technology do. They force people to have these pedophilia responses toward children. And then you try to talk about me as a kid. Because the stupid thing I did as a child, just turned 14 in 8th grade. Kid to do something stupid. I'm in my 30s. You see this grown man who's willing to show his child so they can do the pedophilia things. You nasty lowlife. Knowing that these entities that is in charge of this are filled with pedophiles. They were renowned for the pedophilia type of torture. They forced men and women to experience nastiness. Imagine if I saw it, hey, make him experience something and look at him, it's yeah, when you were in 8th grade. That was you. But because this is too embarrassing, they're like, oh, no, high school. Humiliating. It's degrading. To even see who's talking here. Tell me they're going to be watching me die. I'd rather die than having to live that life. It's humiliating. There's a reason why they don't want to be seen. I've seen one of these kids walk by. Oh, my goodness. It was embarrassing. I can't even show some of these people talking to me. You start laughing. These clowns, these kids, what? You just, it's obvious you work for pedophiles. You have these people that's honeypots. It is comical in so many levels. Like, I look at her sometimes, I'm like, oh, Jesus. It is so embarrassing. I look at this, and this person, I'm like, what is wrong with you? And she gets so excited, oh, they're going to cut your feet. So I'm like, and you're going to grow more feet now? You're delusional. And she's trying to play this radical individual. Do you know the people who put me in this program is the reason why, in some places, getting an abortion is complicated? Maybe not a reason why, but they have donated money to causes that would remove abortion laws. And they have succeeded big time on that and other things, many other things. Everything you try to pretend that you stand for, this is the reason why these people put me in this program. 1. 2, the program where you doing this thing is doing so much terrible things to children and women and have been renowned to do this pedophilia type of torture. You know that. They know very well. They're smarter than me. But they have to dumb themselves down. And they're like, oh, our girls, because they do this pedophilia type of torture toward little girls is the worst. It's like, our girls. You know how many little girls they've been torturing? 3-week-old babies, little girls, radiated by these bottom feeders. This is a lot of pedophiles torturing like 3-year-old babies. Sorry, 3-year-old little boys, testicles radiated. 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old autistic Down syndrome kids, sexual torture by this low life. And they're like, girls. Trash. I wish they continue to live this life. Now I understand the bottom feeders, they're supposed to agitate me. But if they ever make the mistake to think that I don't see them for what they're part of, oh my gosh. For the fathers and mothers who are willing to show their children so they can do the pedophilia type of torture and come into high school, you are a retarded human being. I'm sorry for using that language. Especially fathers, like that father who make his daughter come and say, oh, hey, high school, you're delusional trash. First of all, are you implying about the stupid thing I did when I was a kid in 8th grade? And you have to trick yourself to not try to say high school? 2, I'm 5 years younger than you, maybe. Can you imagine if I looked at him like, oh, that's, bring my little girl, he get reactions like, yeah, that was you when you were a kid, we matched it. She's delusional. These people have sold their soul to these pedophiles. And then guess what? Wow, surprise. You know this agency is verifying, right? Protecting, catching. Oh, Pedophilia Central. All these entities. But you surprised? No, you're out here dragging your child to be seen so they can do this nasty manipulation, and then they look at their phone now. It's like, it's you. Trash. Then have to lie to themselves. No, even the reality of what I did when I was a kid, they tried to make me be an older kid. To try to block our reality. Delusional. And in my mind, like, even such battles, because I just turned, it was 2001, just turned 14 years old. In the midst of me as a boy, you know, when you like learn things and you start doing a lot of things to yourself, non-stop. Yes, just, 13, 14, as a boy, you know. Then at that moment, I do something stupid to myself. Stupid. Looking back now, I'm like, oh my gosh. To myself. You know how kids can do these things. Impulsive, never thought twice about it. Completely as a typical kid. Just turned 14 in 8th grade. They're like, oh, but you can be like 14 and being in a freshman. And you can be 14 and be in 8th grade. This is the kind of battles I have in my mind. I looked average age for 8th grader, 13, 14. Do you know? Of course, I know this. I'm out here looking for the obviousness. Because these people are delusional. They want to come up with their own real fantasies. And I literally turned 14. These are battles to them to try to create it. And they're like, oh, they're right. These people are in the program that are torturing babies. They are filled with pedophiles in these entities. And they're here trying to like remove reality from everything. Talk about, but in 8th grade, like, I had to Google the most obvious things because these people try to remove reality, gaslight you into like a delusion that is unbelievable. And you see these grown men, we're bringing their little babies and do this nasty pedophilia type of torture. Look, this little girl, this beautiful little girl, they're forcing me to look at this little girl in these disgusting ways. And this guy coming, high school. And I look at it, it's like, you're sick trash. As a father, just to give whatever, because that's so nasty. There's nothing more nasty than that. It's more nasty than that. Can you look at this grown man? Like, can you imagine? I bring my own daughter, my own baby. I bring her. So you can look at her. When you look at her, they're going to do the pedophilia type of torture. I'll come in, it's like, no, we match it to you when you just turned 14 years old. You're in your 30s, late 30s. What kind of man would I look like? It would be embarrassing. These people use childlike individuals for a purpose because no self-respect can be had. I've seen this woman. She thinks she's a radical because she has to dumb herself down. It's like, listen, I don't know what you do outside of these moments when you're with me, but there's nothing radical about doing what you're doing to me. You work for governmental entities. Everything is manipulated. Everything is systematic. It's the most it's the foulest thing ever. And then she's trying to talk about like this like progressive ideas and socialist ideas. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, government entities that manipulate the brain. Wow. Power to the people. This logic, I'm like, you are delusional. Matter of fact, it makes you look so incredible. Then she gets happy about my torture. Oh, yeah, that's going to change what you just involved yourself in. Delusional. Trash. Of course I know who. You go on DARPA.com. Directed energy, electronic warfare is in the website of what they work on. This is not a radical group of government who's doing this. It's on the website. By the way, DARPA, they also fund pedophiles there. Program managers downloading child porn on their own computers at work. These people are filled with pedophiles. And you listen to this trash, they contracted, they narrow. Like, these people's job is to be on top of manipulating the brain to just dumb themselves down. Whenever I start hurting to the point when I can make video, I'm just glad I had the chance to say what I need to say. This is dignified. But I know my brain is going to be ravaged with nastiness, with pedophilia stimulations and thoughts. And listen to this trash using this different tonality. So it's here. Oh, we're going to watch. Yeah, nah. While I'm suffering and in pain, I want to die like this. I could be doing this. I could be on the other side doing what they do and then die. I could never look at myself and see respect. This honor my death. You have to be somebody who can be going into a reality that is so falsified, blocking out reality. And I know people are like that. But I'm glad that I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Trash. I could not do these things. I could not. These people are disgusting low life. And I'm never going to let them live and escape into their fantasy. In my mind right now, they try to make me think of, thankfully I have a camera, this trash in the hallway, they've been trying, these warriors. Try to make me think of these kids in this sexual way. They do everything possible to try to create this BS. I already embarrassed one of these kids. I removed the video because it was just like, you can still see this kid trying to be like, someone talking individual, stay strong and know that justice will be done.